Stewardship reduced to its crux is about engaged, responsible, and meaningful value creation over the long term, and how successful and sustained organizations could benefit not only its stakeholders in an inclusive way, but also the larger community.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So glad to see all of you. We have gathered around the room a whole range of experience from state-owned enterprise to asset owners, asset managers, and even professors from different parts of the world. The format this morning will emphasize mutual learning and mutual sharing.
Raise your hand and we'll call on you. Yes, go ahead.
I truly feel that stewardship should be a strategic centrality in the way we organize our companies.
To act today with tomorrow in mind, to build a better future for our next generation.
我们要努力把要我竞争变成为我要竞争，这是一个理念的提升。
No corruption, 诚信, clean mind.
There are always challenges in terms of short-term incentives versus long-term payouts, but I think stewardship as a concept, stewardship as a way of managing money is gaining momentum.
Doing the right thing because it is the right moral thing to do.
You know, I don't think you can underestimate how important these gatherings are, because you convene people from so many different perspectives to talk about stewardship and what that means.
Alongside the challenges and our ongoing responsibilities, I believe the need to preserve and sustain our stewardship principles is just as enduring.
My brother and I are part of the seventh generation in the business, but I'll always remember a piece of advice my father gave us as he said, just make sure that you leave the legacy of an institution that remains relevant to the changing times that you're in.
If the people who want the pensions are thinking sometimes about an income in 20 or 30 years, how does it come about that the people who are representing their money are felt to be interested only in the next 3 months?
We believe that businesses are a part of society and not apart from society.
To transfer the company you receive as a manager to manage in a better shape than what you received.
So what do we invest in? We invest in people.
When old men plant trees under whose shade they will never sit.
And here I want to recognize that Lord Malloch Brown. He was a young UN officer in the refugee camp, and I was that young refugee. Hi.
Sustainability and stewardship to me is ultimately about survival.
I am a steward for the future instead of being a steward of the past.
I loved this year's conference. I thought the emotional tenor was deeper and richer.
I take it that we are familiar by now with the term steward. So this year, I hope we will delve more deeply into this under the theme of stewardship in a disruptive world.
Knowing what disruption is and responding fully must go hand in hand.
Either you will be a disruptor or you will be disrupted.
And stick to our core company value of malasakit, which means concern and care for others.
We have a long-term approach and commitment to local markets.
Ambidextrous leadership. It's being able to balance the long term and also keep an eye on the short term.
In a world of chaos, in a world of disruption, the most important thing is to stay true to your values.
We see 3 roles for ourselves: as an investor, an institution, and a steward. Stewardship in a disruptive world is thinking, planning, and acting today with tomorrow clearly in our minds.
So it's great that Stewardship Asia is looking at the 7 principles to help family business think long term.
We would like to kick off today's program, inviting Chairman Temasek Holdings, Mr. Lim Boon Heng, to address us.
Our society benefits from our investments today, even as we hold their trust as stewards of our portfolio well into the future.
I do believe that ownership is important, and I think that the stewardship companies have a very important role.
Our entire business model is built around the need to serve the customers and the ecosystem and the citizens of Southeast Asia that we start to do so.
As a company, we must do good for the community, do good for the country, do good for the climate, do good for the customers, then it'll be good for the company.
So, from a good stewardship point of view, the critical issue is the long-term health of the company, not the short-term wealth of the shareholder.
We are all stewards, whether or not we own or do not own an asset, a company, an institution. And I think that itself is really the spirit of stewardship.
So we have to remember that as we, who are stewards of our companies, look at our business models, we put people first.
So with that, if I may, invite Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat to share a few words with us.
Now, very happy to join everyone at the Stewardship Asia Roundtable 2019 today. Ultimately, a caring and cohesive society requires everyone to come together to do good for a more sustainable tomorrow. As good stewards, leaders have to continuously invest in innovation, people, and the community.
Wish you all the best. It's been incredible so far. The quality of the speakers, the quality of the participants. We're just so honoured being here.